There we go. All right, good morning, everybody. I'm having microphone problems again today. I got to get my over the head mic working for when I go to the table. Anyway, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Coffee Round with John from Pro Craps here on Casino Gaming TV. Couple things to talk about today before we get into the actual meat of the matter. Might be kind of a shorter show today. Get you back to your work days earlier, but let's jump into it here. A couple things. Last night we had a crowned a champion. If you're a hockey fan at all, Panthers won. Whatever. Not a big Panthers fan. I never have been a big Panthers fan. Stems way back, right? This is the Philly in me. Stems way back to, boy, what year was that? Like the mid to late 90s when the rat thing first happened. And the Flyers played them in the playoffs, and it was just it was one of the more ugly series that we had in a long time. A lot of animosity there. I forget what happened that caused all that crap. Anyway, the Flyers and the Panthers got into it big time. And I've hated them ever since. I've just hated them ever since. It's one of those things where like, this is going to sound so stupid. And I mean, I'm moving to Vegas at some point. And this really sounds dumb, but like I'm big legacy guy, right? I love the original 6 teams. I hate most of them, but I like the fact that they're the history of that. Right. And to me, like when a team just kind of just jumps into the league and has success right away, that drives me crazy. I just don't know. I feel like you got to earn your stripes a little bit. So when new teams do really good, really quick, I don't like it. And really, there's no history there. Like when the Golden Knights came in and went to the finals the first year, good story, hated it. And I really don't like that team. I mean, I'm moving to Vegas. It'll be my home team at some point, but I just don't like them. I feel like that's just kind of wrong. I mean, I know it's good for the league, I guess, good for viewership, but to me, it's like, just pay your freaking dues, right? Anyway, I don't like the Panthers, but they won. Congrats. I do love their goalie though. Bobrovsky, great goalie, played for the Flyers, obviously. Good dude, good guy. I thought he probably should have won the Conn Smythe, but Connor McDavid won it. And only the second time in history that's happened. That the Conn Smythe has gone to somebody from a losing team. McDavid earned it, man. That dude. And by the way, the other guy from the Flyers. So just putting it out there. The Flyers have had 2 of those, right? The Flyers have had one guy, I think it was Leach or McLeish, I forget who it was, that won the Conn Smythe as the losing player. Ron Hextall, the goalie, won the most valuable player for the finals when they played the Oilers way back when Gretzky won it with them. I think it was their second or third cup. Hextall, so twice the Flyers have had like the losing player win the thing. McDavid was the second player ever to win the entire playoff MVP. Amazing, right? And you saw the video probably. First guy in line to shake everybody's hand from the Panthers and last guy off the ice. He sat at the door and hugged every one of his players as they left the ice. True captain, awesome dude. Never been an Oilers fan, but that dude's where it's at. What a class act. So awesome for him. I do want to revisit yesterday's show a little bit too about pressing, and I have some videos I want to show you here. I'm a little bit upset about how that show went because yesterday we were talking. Dice, you don't like the link because the ice skate. I don't mind. I just don't like when new teams come in and just have instant success. I feel like there are so many teams that have been added and fan bases that have been like the Jets fan base, Winnipeg Jets. They've been like suffering without a team for all these years, and they finally get a team back. You know what I mean? And it's like, let's have them win one. You know what I mean? Like I like when history gets rewarded, like legacy gets rewarded. You know. Anyway. There are some teams though, like the Mets, that I hope never win. Right? There are some teams that I'm like, you know, they're suffer all you can, guys. Anyway, yesterday's show about pressing, I'm a little upset about how that show went because I got emails and texts from a couple of good friends of mine. Greg from 555, JB, and a few other people wrote me with like they got this completely mixed message about yesterday's show. And I want to make it really clear what I'm doing here. I think this is super important for y'all to understand. Oh, good morning, El Toro. How you doing, baby? I got a bone to pick with you. I'll call you later. Just kidding. Anyway, the purpose of this part of my series. Oh, you know what? We should talk about this too. The Coyotes. You know what? I'm surprised too. The problem with Arizona, and you know this, Anthony, and I hate to say this, right? Arizona is a little bit like Seattle in some respects, a little bit like Florida in some respects. Like nobody's from Florida. Nobody's from Arizona. You follow what I'm saying? A lot of people move to Arizona and they have their own allegiances. I have a friend who's down there. He's a Seahawks fan, right? He moved from Seattle. People like Arizona is a place where it's a melting pot of a state. So there's not a good fan base for the teams that are there because everybody brings their own previous fandom with them. And Florida is the same way. Florida gets that same vibe. People move from New York, Philly, whatever, down to Florida, Michigan, down to Florida, and they don't really have like the strong vested interest in those teams. And it's kind of a thing, right? And that's what happens, right? You don't get the diehards, right? And I think cities like that or states like that have a tough time in sports. And I am surprised that the Coyotes stayed as long as they did. But can you imagine? Did they really name that thing the Salt Lake City Hockey Club? I mean, come on. You talk about phoning it in like that. Somebody got paid for that. Somebody got paid to come up with that name, the Hockey Club. Oh my God. Anyway, back to yesterday's talk. Yesterday we talked about pressing, and I want to make it really clear what I'm doing in this 401 series. I'm not giving you strategies. I'm not telling you how to play. I'm not making recommendations. I'm not giving you anything other than, sorry, the light wasn't on, anything other than the ways to play. This is like, I'm giving you tools. Like you all have an empty toolbox. I've given you the wrench and the hammer and the screwdriver and the socket thing and the, whatever you call those little, the freaking little L-shaped things. I'm losing my train of thought. I'm giving you stuff, right? You got your toolkit and we're building it up, right? You don't have to use the ratchet to tighten a bolt. You can use a wrench if you want to. You want to work hard, use the freaking wrench. You want to make it easy on yourself, use a ratchet. You want to make it really easy on yourself, get the universal ratchet head, right? The tools in the box are for you to pick from, right? I'm giving you the tools. Yesterday we talked about pressing and I said, look, here, if you're going to press in such a way, right? Press in such a way that, that you can remember it and not screw it up, right? I know Toro's got a way to press. I know Gargoyle's got his way. I know I've got my way of pressing. Skill's got his way of pressing. You have to press in a way that makes sense for you. A, you can remember. B, you don't screw it up. C, it makes money for you. If you're going to press, follow those 3 rules. And I gave you like 4, 5, 6, 7 different ways to do it yesterday. Not saying one's better than the other. Compare them and see what you like. Find one that you can remember and that works for you and that will make you money on a roll. That's all I'm giving you is tools to choose from. I'm not saying one or the other is better. It's what you're looking for out of the hand, right? Do you want to hit a 10x multiplier on your initial bet, or do you want to always be collecting and eking out small wins? There's different tools for those jobs. You got to pick the one you want, right? That's the point of this show, right? That's the point of the show. So here we go. Let's jump in and get at it. All right, here we go. Make it automatic, right? Like for example, JB gave me some grief yesterday. He said, "Hey, you're trying to solve the problem again." I'm like, I'm not trying to solve the problem, right? I'm not trying to come up with the perfect way to play. Like he plays a very aggressive style, but he's got it on rhythm. He's got that one. Well, for him it's 1200, but for us it's 120 inside, right? 30, 30, 30, 30, and it's a hit on the 6 or 8. Get the hard way, rack the first one. Hit on the 6 or 8, press it up, repress the hard. It's got a rhythm that he goes through that it's just on autopilot, right? I want you all to be on autopilot with your way to play. And maybe you didn't know about the level up pressing. Maybe you didn't know about half pressing. Maybe you didn't know about press, collect as an option, right? So I'm giving you options, and one of those will resonate with you. And that's what I wanted you to get from yesterday's show was a little bit of, here's all the ways I can do it. One of those touches my heart. That's the one I'm going to go for, right? Work that. That's what I want from you. Okay. So today's show will be a lot the same. I'm going to read you a text, by the way, on the Craft for the Cure. Let me get my phone out. I want to be as transparent as I can. We're still working towards, hold on. Let me get my text messages here. Where is it from Don? I talked to Don yesterday about this. Hold on one second. Don. Now I asked him about the casino. Are we closer to a decision? Of course, without saying the name of the casino, what he said was, I asked any updates. He said, no, our contact was out the rest of last week, but they're running up the flagpole in meetings this week. I got to tell you they were all super, super excited though at the meeting last week. I asked him again about NASCAR. I said, I'm stoked too. Want a firm date. Week of the 19th, as you know, is NASCAR. So the weekend before that works too. Let's let them make the call, and then I can release the hounds, right? You all. So I'm letting the casino make the call. He says to me back, the folks from insert casino name here were there. This is when he was in Colorado. They did not seem concerned about the date. They were actually looking to make sure there are no other conflicts and events that week that would prevent them from hosting the event on that day. They don't care about NASCAR. They're like, let's do it on the 19th. So it sounds like the 19th. I'm not going to say it, but it sounds like that might be a lock for us. And the casino is excited about having us there on NASCAR weekend. I think it's going to be great. I know. And I'm working on it, Jen. I'm working on it. I told you like a month ago, please don't buy tickets just yet but if we do it the week before, I'll make sure that the event goes from weekend before, week in, week after, that same 19th weekend. The 19th weekend will be in play, whether it's the event or a surrounding thing. It sounds like the casino's all in, though. It sounds like they're good on the 19th. So I think we are fantastically set up for this thing. They're excited about it. Like I said, our casino of choice, their charity of choice is veterans. So this fits perfectly with them. I think they're going to be, I think it's all going to, I think it's, I'm going to speak out of school. I think it's all going to happen. I think it's all going to happen. So please put your hands together, pray for us, make sure this thing happens on that date and at the place I want. And I think we're going to be in really, really good shape. So there is that. Hopefully we'll get some check boxes here soon. We can move ahead. I want to show you a couple of things before I get into actually we can do a quick review of the daily paycheck, and then I'll get into what I want to show you from yours today. Today was an interesting day. Right, we did the ease in thing. I finally eased in. I'm like, let's go come ladder. Right, I went come ladder for a shooter, made $700, just like I was supposed to. Beautiful come ladder run, right? And I went, okay, that was great. I feel good. Let's go out there with our cross bet, right? PSO, lost $1,000 on the cross bet. Like shit. Okay, fine. So now I'm in. Now instead of being up 700, I'm down 500. We went across again. And we got our 3 hits. I regressed down. I got 3 more hits and we were out. It took me 6 hits to get there. I doubled up my time. We talk about this all the time. If you can get your 2 hits and out, great. Otherwise, you got to double your number of hits at each level, which we did. We doubled up, got 6 hits. We're out, made our paycheck. It was cool. Wasn't fun. I don't like having to fight from behind like that. Had I gone out across to start today, we would have been just fine. Right? But anyway, today worked out well. And overall, we're doing good. We're up $35,000 now. We're still at 45K. I have not yet crossed the 50K barrier yet. I will cross that soon. I hope. This need a small run to get through that. But anyway, paycheck's going well. I'm locking in more with the drawdown or the salute as my way to go. At some point, we may go come ladder or we may go horseman at bigger dollar amounts and get out of there quicker. We have to just make those decisions, and maybe even a bigger red cross. I don't want to put up half the bankroll all the time. I like easing in sometimes, and I like playing different ways. Anyway, what are we saying here? I'm looking at why do they care about NASCAR? They're in Henry. You can't tell people where we're going, Dan. You got to keep it quiet. They do care about NASCAR only because people come to the town to go to the race, and the rooms fill up. So part of my ask has been for hotel rooms for all of us that are going to be working the event, and the people that are going to play on the private table. I've asked for a bunch of rooms as part of what I'm asking. It's part of my big ask. So NASCAR fills the rooms up, and I'm worried about not getting rooms for everybody. That was the big thing, really. The big stumbling block really is going to be the rooms and the food. I think the date is going to be good. So anyway, that's the reason why it's taking so long. Anyway, let me show you something. I don't know if this is going to resonate with you at all, but I want to show you a thing here. Give me a second to get this up. I'm going to switch screens. This is a video that I found on YouTube, and it's actually a series of videos. Now, I've seen people do this with real balls, but I can't find the videos where the longer one goes. So I want to show you something that I think is interesting physics experiment that speaks to pressing, I think, versus same betting. Check this out. I'm gonna share my screen with you here, and give me a second here. I'm gonna go to this. This is a physics website. And we're going to go, let's see if I can get to this one here. Who is faster? Okay, this is going to be, I'm going to lower the volume here. One of these tests where what's going to be the faster ball? The ball that takes the straight line or the ball that goes over the humps. Okay. This is an interesting thing. And this to me speaks very directly to the idea of same betting straight down the line versus pressing. Now, the presser goes up and down, right? He loses some, he wins some, loses some, wins some, and he gains momentum as he goes. right? The same better, steady as she goes the whole way through. Okay. Now you'll see that in this example, right? The presser actually has a little bit of an advantage here. The same better is building momentum while the presser is gaining speed as he goes, right? And that's kind of what you'd expect. Okay. But check this version of it out. I'm going to go back a screen here. I'm going to try and move this out of the way. If I go back a screen, here's a longer version of it. This is the 10 times longer version. And this is going to be interesting. Watch this, slow motion. This is going to be the same thing, but a 10x distance. Watch this. What do you think is going to happen? Who's going to win this one? The same better or the person who's riding the wave up and down the whole time, right? So again, we're not going to stop the video, but watch what happens here, right? As you'd expect, the presser takes the lead early. The same better, though, overtakes him because momentum builds as he goes. He never varies his strategy, and he's always collecting. The leaps and bounds, the ups and downs that the presser is experiencing over the course of time. This is what we say math gets you in the end. This is math getting you in the end. So yeah, the short run, right? That presser can kind of get some quick double hits here. But again, you're dealing with physics, so you're getting some disconnections from the surface. That's an interesting thing, I think. I was watching this going, that's pretty interesting. And I don't know how that equates to craps at all, but it feels to me a lot like what you would expect to see with how we play. Here's another example, another physics one. Again, who's going to win this race, right? Volume off. Look at this here. Now here, I'm going to hit pause. You've got one person that gets a great start. The blue ball gets this gigantic, like, look at that, straight down. Huge momentum. The yellow ball in the second slot, steadier momentum, the same betting, basically. The third guy, a little bit of a less steep angle. Then you've got the kind of the two hump guy, like maybe the half presser, and the pink ball in the end is doing these big moves, right? Power moves, like big time pressing, like the power press, huge ups, big downs, right? Who's going to win this race? Check this one out. Here it comes. Watch this. Not what you'd expect, right? The same better, right? The guy that's doing the basic, the yellow ball, right, actually wins the whole thing, which is interesting. The ones on the end, again, you're dealing with physics here. So the pink ball in the end gets air, so he loses contact. But the idea of these enormous swings up and down can, yes, build momentum for you. And maybe if he leaves the casino right there, he's ahead. But we stay in the game and we lose our profits, right? And we build them back up again. And meanwhile, the person who's just collecting all the time, the yellow and the red and the blue balls, who are just basically same betting, but at different speeds, maybe, right? With different bet sizes, they come out on top, which I think is very interesting. And then here's another version of it. I think this one also shows you kind of like, this one here speaks to me about regressions, right? Look at this one here. So now you have all the same ramps. They're the same exact angles, but one guy starts at the end. We're going to pause right here. The green ball starts almost at the end. Picture this guy here having regressed. This guy went out 320 across the green ball, 320 across, takes his hit, goes out 64 across. He's playing for free, looking for a home run. The guy at the blue ball up here went out 64 across and just same betted the whole way through. Okay, that's your two extremes. One big time presser playing for free. The blue ball is actually starting low and same betting. Who's going to win this race? The person with this enormous head start who regressed, or the person who comes out small and just lets the chips fall where they may? Here we go. Watch this. What do you think? I should probably have fast forwarded that, but here we go. Look at this. The guy that started out at the very end finishes last, right? Momentum is an interesting thing, right? Watch the slow-mo. These balls finish in the reverse order where they start. So look at how much the rhythm of just collect matters versus the person who was playing for free and never collected. Basically, the green ball gets one hit after he regressed. That's kind of what this demonstration is showing. And again, these aren't bets, right? It's just balls on a hill. But I think it's interesting to show what momentum does, even when you're just same betting. Look at that, blue, brown, pink, white, green. They in the exact opposite order where they started from. So again, not that I'm proving anything by doing that, but that's just, I thought it was interesting. I watched those last night. I'm like, that's just an interesting way of kind of looking at momentum and betting in these games, right? I always say the same bettors have an advantage, really, because most rolls are going to be in that short range, right? That same bet, that little tiny press, ultimately has an interesting effect. And I don't know, again, how those balls relate to craps. When I see that visual, my brain goes, oh my God, that's like pressing versus a same bet monotone play. And it kind of feels like what it feels like on the table, doesn't it? Yeah, it's totally unrelated, Jen. I know it's unrelated, not the same thing at all. But for me, like as a visual learner, I look at things like that and I go, okay, there's a 1-for-1 here where I can say that volatility that the one ball experienced is like the person who's all in and lose, all in and lose, all in and lose versus somebody just kind of straight lining it. It's not the same thing, but visually the feeling is the same. It's like that rhythm of the game. Anyway, I thought it was interesting to see, and I wanted to show it to you because I thought it was kind of cool. Anyway, let's the house is for sure always collecting. No question. Here we go. Let's go negative progressions. You ready? Put your balls away. It's top negative. Okay, let's do it. All right. Remember the guiding principles we have, right? Our goals, our strategy, our bankroll. Bankroll is going to be a big one today. Okay. Mindset and connecting all this stuff. Okay. This is going to be one of those days or another one of those episodes where we talk about, again, a way to play. Okay. I believe, okay. And here we are, session 14, talking about play styles. This is a negative progression session. Okay. All the ways you can play. Right? There's only really, I think, 3 core ways you can do it. And we talk about this all the time. You can start small and build your bets. You can start at a medium size and just be collecting all the time, like that ball we saw. You can start high, regress down, and then hammer from a position of strength. Okay. How you employ these strategies and maybe merge them together as part of your core attack plan, that's how you become dangerous, I think. Okay. Now, negative progressions are going to fall into the first category, start small and build. When we look at these things, I'm going to go to you from a craps perspective only. Okay. From a craps tables perspective, starting small and building, right? And I guess you can do roulette too, right? If you start small, single unit bet, and you build when you win. Let's say you're betting, we can say red and black and roulette. Take a red bet for $3 or for 2 units. You win it, you win 2 units, you go up by 1. You win 3, you go up to 4. You win 4, you go up to 5. And you're always collecting and building up, right? That's start small, build your bets high as you win. We all think of it as this progressive way, right? Start small, build means I'm winning. I'm going to put casino money on what I'm building. I'm going to build up those profits. We're going to make some money, right? Negative progressions are the same thing, just from the opposite lens. You're starting small and you're building, but you're building following a loss, not following a win. And that's the difference between a negative progression, you're chasing a loss, versus a positive progression where you're hammering your wins. You're still starting small. You're still building up. The difference is when you're pressing and you're hammering wins, you're building up your base bet with profits. When you're chasing a loss, you're building up your base bet from your rack. And that's a different piece of it. Bankroll is going to be a big deal here, right? When you're chasing a loss, the way that this happens is this. You're looking for a scoped win. We'll talk about this in a minute. A scoped win, 1, 2, 3 units, whatever it is. You're either going to get it right away or you're going to grind it out. Okay. And I'll give you a bunch of examples here of how that looks. You're going to either win it right away, you're going to win that unit and go home, or you're going to be grinding out that recovering that loss and trying to grind out the one win. Okay. Donks get you, right? The whole point of chasing loss is that you're in a loss chase. You're in a negative progression because you got donked. The whole reason that you're doing a negative progression is because you know you're going to lose, right? So when you lose and you increase your bet size, that's the negative progression piece. You negatively go higher, right? Because you're coming from your rack. It's because you lost. That's the whole point of it, right? When I say the bankroll, again, you look at the ways you can lose, right? Time, what beats you, and how much money you have. When you're chasing a loss, too much bankroll is not enough bankroll. And I mean that with everything in my being. You cannot have enough money to do this because it's going to take you a fortune to withstand the potential badness, right? But if you got the bankroll and you're looking to make a daily paycheck or you're looking to make regular profits, use it. Okay. This is gamblers' fallacy on display. This is, I'm betting a certain way because something's due to happen. Guaranteed at some point, this trend that we're on is going to reverse itself. This streak is going to end. I'm going to bet on the end of the streak. I'm hoping that it comes before I'm out of money. That's what you're doing. You're chasing loss, okay? There are many systems that you can do, and I'll go to the table. I'll show you a few of these systems as we go. Matter of fact, let's just go there right now and look at a few ways. I'm going to give you like 4 or 5 ways as examples to play. Then we're going to talk about some pros and cons. Okay, let's go ahead and switch over. Give me a second here. Let's do this. I think that's the way I want to see it. And let me switch the mic. Okay, let's look at a few. And I'm going to work the field here on the craps table. I'm not going to roll dice. I'm just going to show you what it looks like to do it. Let's do green chip bets. Okay, and let's do like $500 in the rack. Okay, we'll do a simple. Again, probably not enough money to make this happen, but we're going to go $500. I'm just going to give you an example of how fast the money can go, number one, but what the purpose of these plays are. Here we go, $500 in the rack. Let's put it on the field, okay? And let's do a martingale first. The simplest martingale is this. You're going to double your bet that you lost. Okay, so you're going to, let's say we lose a bet. I'll put the losses over here. We lost 1, come out with 2. Why 2? Because when you win 2, you go back to your rack, there's your initial bankroll, and there's a unit in profit. You were trying to win 1 unit. The whole point of martingale is to win 1 unit, whatever it is. You lose 1, cool. You go out with 2, you lose 2, go out with 3, or I'm sorry, you go out with 4 after you lose 2. You double your last bet, 2, 3, 4. Now you go out with 8, 4, 6, 8 bets. That's about as far as we can go, right? We can get a 4-step martingale here with 8 units. Okay, now what happens when you win? Again, you lose. We're bound to win, gambler's fallacy, right? When you win 8 units. What have you lost? You've lost 4, 6, 7 units. You get your money back plus 1 unit. All that money at risk to win 1 unit. That's the martingale, okay? Now, some people will martingale plus. They'll do a little bit of juice on the martingale. So for example, let's do it again. Let's go $25 on the field. I'm going to take a green chip and make it look like reds. Okay. Let's say you lose the first one. You go out with 25 plus a red. Okay. You lose that 50 and another red. Just go one every time. Right? Or you can go 2 if you want to, but that's enough, right? If you win here, you're going to win $55, right? All your money comes back that you had lost, right? You lost the first one. You upped it up a little bit. Now when you come back to your rack, you've got your money back plus a couple extra bucks. You got your goal plus a couple of extra. That's the point of that, right? So you level up your each bet. So it's a double plus, double plus, double plus. When you win, all those pluses stack up to an extra unit. And that's the idea there. So that's a Marty. Tough game to play, right? If you look at how much you need to martingale with white chips, you're going to lose. Let's just look it out. You lose 1 unit, out with 2, out with 4, out with 4, out with 8 units. Then you're out with 16 units. My God, right? 15, 16 units, right? That's the 5th level. The 6th level goes to 32 units, right? 25, 32 units, right? If these are dollars, right, on a bubble craps or on a bubble roulette type machine, what are you out? 32 plus 16, 48, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 63 units, right? If these are black chips, that's $6,300 and you can only lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times and you're out of money, right? Martingales get really expensive really quick, right? Have you ever lost six in a row? I have. That happens all the time, okay? But that's a Marty, okay? The other one that we see a lot of is what's called a D'Alembert system, okay? That's an up by 1. So you lose a quarter. You go up with 2 quarters. The first one is a full unit, right? It feels like you're martingaling, right? Let's say you lose that. Your next bet is 3 units. So just go up by 1 each time you lose. 1, 2, 3 in the loss, okay? Now you go up to 4. So your bankroll will last a little bit longer in this case. And here's the deal. The D'Alembert is up as you lose, down as you win. The martingale, when you win, you go all the way back to base. This one here, you got to work a little bit. When you win 4, we take that loss or that win out of our losses, right? You go down by a unit. So you can pull that back to your rack. Now you're down to 3 units. When the 3-unit bet wins, you're going to win 2 plus 1 down to 2. If you're watching your bankroll, you're actually up a unit, right? If you take that to the next stage, work it all the way back down to 0, you win 2, back down to your base. Now you've got 50 in profit plus a bet going, 3 units in profit. The Dalen Bear, when it goes up and down, wins more than a unit as it comes back down. It has a better upside than the martingale does, which only guarantees you 1 win. Makes your bankroll last a little bit longer because you're going up by single units, not by a full bet every time. Okay, that's that one. Another common one is called the Labouchere system. And the Labouchere system is one where you decide how many units you want to win. Let's say I want to win 5 units. I'm going to put the bets here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to win 5 units. You put 5 white chips somewhere. You can put 5 ticks in a box on a piece of paper, however you want to manage your bets, right? What you do here is you're going to bet 2 of these every time. You can pick the 2, okay? I'm going to say, we're going to bet this one and this one. Great, 2 units. Awesome. If I happen to win, right, I take those 2 away. That goes to my rack. I take the next 2, we'll bet 2 again, because that's what I have up there, right? We win 2. Those 2 get crossed off my list. Right now I've got $100 in profit, okay? I bet 1 more, I have 1 unit left, or 1 tick mark left. I bet 1 unit, I win the 1 unit, back to my rack, and I've won 5 units. That's the whole point. The Labouchere says, I want to win 5. I bet this pattern. The up as you lose piece comes as you lose. So if you bet 1 unit, or 2 units rather, we take these N2, and we lose this bet. Well, now you got to put 2 more units out there. You can either say, now I'm 2 and 2 on the end, like that, I guess, or you can add them like this. You can keep making the ends bigger. You can put the 2 units you lost anywhere you want. You can spread them out like this. So I can go like 2 here and 1 here. Okay, we'll make that our next bet. We'll put 3 units out there. Okay, let's say we lose the 3 units. Oh, that sucks. Lose 3. Okay, well, they're back, and I got to add 3 more, right? 1, 2, 3. Now my things are all 6. I got to bet 2 units each time, or I can spread it out like so and keep betting 2 units at a time. But now I got to win 2, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times to make it happen. So Labouchere means as you lose, add units to your stack of things you have to bet. You can arrange these in any order you want to. You can go, I can go 5 and 1. I can put a 6-unit bet out there if I'm ballsy enough. 6-unit bet. And if I win the 6-unit bet, cool. That's all off the shelf, right? The Labouchere means, again, choose how much you want to win. And every time you bet some combination of 2 of what you have out here. Again, you can make them look like all singles, all doubles as you lose, or you can hammer the insides. However you want to do it, right? You can take these bets and keep extending it out or make them bigger. Make them bigger, you end up in a situation where you might have to put 6 units out there. So again, bankroll management is a key. And again, this one also works on the principle that eventually you're going to get out of the bad streak, right? All negative progressions work on the same premise. Eventually, it's going to work itself out if I have enough money, okay? But when you lose 4, 5, 6 times in a Labouchere, you go from 5 units as your goal, you might have 30 units out here, 30 wins you have to get to make it up. So time is not on your side. It's either you're going to spread it out and have to win a bunch more times, or you got to put a bunch more at risk to get your wins. However you want to stack those up in your rack. That's the Labouchere. It's a tough one. It seems like it's going to work every single time until it doesn't. That can get really expensive or really crush you in terms of time. Okay, so those are the 3 most common negative progressions, but there's more. There's a couple more that I have played. Let me go to the next screen here. One's a Fibonacci, which a lot of roulette people kind of think this is the panacea here. Fibonacci just basically says you're going to win, you're going to bet the sum of your last 2 bets, right? So let's say you lose 1, You go out again, you lose 2. Well, now you've lost 2, you bet 2. Okay, your last bet was 2, and the last bet before that was 1. So your next bet is 3. Right? So you're betting 3 here. You lose the 3. Your next bet is gonna be 3 plus the 3 that you just lost is 6. You can always bet the sum of your last 2 bets and go backwards. Again, requires a ton of bankroll. There's a lot of websites that talk about Fibonacci on roulette. Again, it's if you get into a bad streak, that compounding nature, 1, 3, 5, those bets become so big so quick. It's tough to play, right? I like a 32 a little better. If I'm going to go negative, the 32 is my favorite way to play. I don't have enough chips here to do it. 32, I would need at 20. Let's go. I think I need 24, 28. I don't have enough greens to do it. I packed all my chips, so I don't have enough to do this. Actually, I can make it work. 32 is this. The 32 is basically a pattern where you're going to bet, I'm moving that way. You're going to bet 1 unit 4 times, then 2 units twice, then 4 units twice, and then 8 units twice. I'll put them here. Okay, so it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 8, 8, 16, 24, 26, 28, 32. 32 units total risk. The 32 limits your exposure to 32 units. You know what you're going to lose if it goes south on you. The trick to this one here is always doubling or always parlaying your wins. I'm actually going to take these 4s and make them look like blacks just because I don't have enough greens, and these are actually 2 blacks each. Okay, there we go. So it's 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 8, 8. How does it look when you lose? Go out for 1, lose it. Go out for 1, lose it. Go out for 1. If you win it, you parlay the wins always. When the parlay win comes in, 1, 2, 3, and there's your unit in profit. Okay. If the parlay comes early in a series, you profit good, right? You lose 1, you lose 1, you lose another 1, you lose another 1. You come out here with a 4 or 2 unit bet. Let's say that 2 units wins. I'll pay it from the losses. 2 units wins. You parlay the win. You're going to win 4 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4 units. If we put all this back, 3, 4, it's a 2 unit net. So when you win a parlay on the first level, you're in good shape. You actually win an extra unit, which is kind of nice. The 32 works that way. It's just simply that sequence of bets as you lose. You know what you're going to lose. If it's black chips, $3,200, right? You're going to win a unit or 2 or 3 or 4 as you parlay. The trick here is you got to win 2 in a row. You can't just martingale it and you go, okay, I got my 1 win and I'm good. It's not like a Labouche or a D'Alembert where you're up and down, up and down, up and down. This one here, you got to get a parlay to win. If you don't get 2 in a row at some point, you're going to be screwed and lose the whole thing. But I like the fact that this one scopes your loss to a known number. You're going to lose at most 32. The martingale, you could lose your entire house. You got to be careful about that, okay? And I think that's it. The last one, I think, is I think I did the Labouche, right? Already? Yeah, I already talked about that one. Did I miss one? Labouche's on there twice, that's why. So anyway, that is the look at a few of the more popular negative progressions. And we'll go back over here and talk through it some more. All right. So again, that's a look at some of the more popular ones, right? The Fibonacci, the 31, the Labouche, the D'Alembert, and the martingale. Those are some of the big negative chasing systems. And they've all got the same advantage to me, right? The advantage is you're quote unquote guaranteed to win. If you don't hit something bad, right? Big if, you're guaranteed to win because they're designed to, okay, I lost, let's cover it. I lost, let's cover it. I lost, let's cover it. When the win happens, and the win will eventually happen. You're not going to get 75 losses in a row. Eventually it's going to happen. Back to base or back to your level or whatever it is, you're going to be up. You're guaranteed to win that amount that you're going for. The 32 guarantees a win. The Labouche guarantees a win of X units, right? The martingale guarantees a win of 1 unit. There's no surprises. You'll be up, you'll be down, ride the wave, trust it out, follow your plan and profit, right? It just works, we say, right? There's no surprise here. When you're negatively progressing your bets, it's a unit-based system. You know what's going to happen. Your wins and losses are typically scoped, right? I know I'm going to win in the Labouchet, for example, 3 units. I have a 3-unit Labouchet. That's my goal. I'm going to win 3. If it works, I'm going to win 3. Done. If I'm going to martingale it, I know I'm going to win 1. And if I maybe want to try it twice today, I'm going to win 2 units, right? That's, you know what you're going to go. You also know what your cap is. I'm going to risk 32 units to win a couple. I'm going to risk 63 units for the martingale to win whatever I'm going to win. But you know what you're going to win or lose. You kind of come into this thing knowing that. And your risk is controlled with your bankroll, which has to be big. Now, there are disadvantages, obviously, right? You're risking a lot of money for a very little bit. Martingale especially. You can go on $1 martingale and get that bet up to $1,000 and win $1 when it's all done, right? It's a lot of risk for a very small reward, okay? Generally, the wins are going to be small. In a really bad series, you're fighting time, and you're fighting time really hard. Time will dominate you, okay? The one day that it catches you, right, you're gonna burn the whole thing. Bad things happen, right? We always say the thing that can never happen, it absolutely will happen. It will totally happen to you, right? Today in my morning show, right, 4 come out 7s in a row. All right, 7 out and then 3 come out 7s. 4 7s in a row. Never happens. It never happens, but it did today. Matter of fact, we had 4 7s, 2 horns, and a 7 in that one sequence, right? That kind of stuff never happens until it does, right? And if you're on the don't pass and you're doing a martingale on the don't pass, I just beat your ass for probably 6 levels today. It happens, okay? The problem is when you're doing a negative progression and you're chasing that loss for the one goal, putting a lot of money out there for 1 or 2 units, you can't stop it, right? It's like the heroin of the gambling world, right? Once you're in it, you're in it. Once you've at level 5, you either got to say, you know what, I just took it in the shorts, I'm done, and take the loss, or you got to go, you know what, I'm in it. Just let's keep going, right? The bad thing is going to happen. The other disadvantage is that you're going to run into limits, right? Your bankroll is finite. You're not going to have unlimited bankroll for sure, right? Also, tables have maximum bets. Now it's worse on roulette, right? Craps, you can find craps tables that have $5,000, $10,000 maxes. You want to do a $5 martingale or a $10 martingale in the field, you can get to max, right? You can, that's a 10 or 12 level Marty. You can get there. Roulette tables are a lot of times $500 maxes. My local casinos, my roulette table max here is 100. Our craps table max is 500. You're never gonna, you can't do a negative progression when the levels are so low. The casinos have table maxes because of this, right? This would be the perfect system. You would be guaranteed to win if the casinos did not implement this idea of maximum bets. That's the facts of life, okay? Those are there to stop this guaranteed way to win. That's what they're for. Now, are you going to win most of the time? Probably, right? I say this, is this the solution? If you have the time to ride out that whole thing, if you have the money that can outlast that whole thing, if you're okay with grinding for hours to make a unit or 2, if you're okay to lose big every once in a while, these things win at a pretty good clip, right? 75, 80% of the time, you're going to win on a negative progression. You win most of the time. But when you lose, it's everything. It isn't like you're going to go out there with $500 and take a 25% loss and go, well, it wasn't my day. You're going to go out there with $500 at a $10 table, lose the whole 500. It isn't like it's a small loss, right? These are catastrophic size losses, okay? If you mind your profit levels and you mind your goals and you go, oh, wait a minute. My rack has 350. I got 275 on the table. I'm actually at my goal. I'm on my way down in the system, but I hit my goal on the way down. Good. Get out. You got to watch that. Waylon, who plays a lot of the Dale and Bear systems, will tell you all the time, make sure you're minding your bankroll because you might be at goal and not realize it because your bets are out there up and down kind of big. Be careful about that. Okay. And again, you just got to know. You just got to know, right, what you've got at risk and be willing to accept the big loss. That's the big thing. Be willing to accept the catastrophic loss every so often. You can win 75 times $1,000 and lose 10 grand 25 times. You're going to be out of sorts, right? And that's what can happen to you, right? or maybe you lose 10, maybe it's $5,000, $25,000. You're going to be out of sorts, right? That's what happens, right? $75,000 in wins and 25 $5 losses, and you're upside down. You feel like, man, I'm winning all the time. But those catastrophic losses will eat you up. That's where you got to be careful. Yeah, these can work really well, but they're a grind. If you watch any of Waylon's Way Craps, watch some of his videos. Now, Waylon wins a lot, but I want you to, I challenge you, and I challenge him, and we always forget to do this, right? Watch a video of his where he does like one of the negative progression things, his ladder system. Watch how long it takes. Like, he rolls fast, right? There are times on his show where the up and down as you lose thing is 60, 70 rolls for him to get his $500. Sometimes he does it right away. Sometimes it takes him from $5,000. It takes him 65 or 70 rolls to win the $500 because you're here. You got to catch the right run to make it happen. When it happens, it happens. So when I say this all the time, if you have the time and the money to withstand that, you can make this happen. Not my way of playing. I don't have that kind of bankroll. I don't like losing catastrophically. And I know good and damn well that the bad thing is going to happen. I've seen, and you all have too, 10 reds in a row. If you're betting red, you're loving life. If you're on a negative progression and you're betting black and you're going up as you lose on the blacks, guess what? You just burned your mortgage payment, right? These things happen. And once you're locked into it, you're kind of stuck, right? So remember, finite bankroll, maxes, all that stuff. And you will hit the perfect thing that can never happen. It absolutely will happen. Right now, you can say, you know what? I'm going to go martingale five levels and be done. That's what Ken from Ken Knows Gambling used to do. I'm going to go 5 levels and stop. I'll take that much risk. I'll scope it. I'm not going to ever take the catastrophic loss. I'll take this known level of loss. Up to you. But for me, if I'm going to give you a recommendation, I'm going to say you only do this A, at the dollar level, or B, if you got massive amount of bankroll. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to get crushed. Be careful with it. If you're going to choose one that has a limit to it, right? Go back in here, go to the 31 or the 32, go to the Fibonacci, not the Fibonacci, go to the Dale and Bear, where you can, or the Labouche, where you can kind of scope your levels. You can kind of lock yourself into not having massive bets out there. The Labouche, when you spread your bets out versus stacking them up and saying, instead of going 6 and 6, I'm going to go 1 and 1 6 times, you can control your bankroll to some degree. You're just going to optimize that one for time. Up to you how you do it. But anyway, that's my look at negative progressions. There's, again, lots of ways to do this, right? They can be winners in the right circumstance, but by and large, those catastrophic wins are going to be really tough to come by. So just be careful with it and pay attention to what's in your rack. All right. Let's take a look here at some of the comments. I'm going to go to look at PCs and see if anything. Whoop, I typed it instead of filtered it. Let's do PC. Any PC comments? None. It's only me. Any questions? Let's see. Yeah, right. And that's the 31 or the 32, however you want to play that one. You're right. It's hard to win one. That one requires you to win 2. It does work well in some games, right? Like Baccarat, roulette, where these 50-50 things happen pretty quickly. You're going to catch 2 in a row, hopefully before you lose 8 in a row. And again, these are all shots in the dark, right? These negative progressions are all shots in the dark. And that's kind of what that looks like to me. You just got to catch it, or you got to catch your win. JR said, what's guarantees that eventually you'll be required to make a larger bet? And they say no. For sure, they won't take the action unless you have some kind of special deal, right? So yeah, negative progression are a tough way to play. A tough way to play unless you have the money. But again, they will cap you at some point. And when they cap you, you're done, right? You get to you hit table max and you lost 5 times and you're at table max. You got to win 3 times or 4 times at table max just to get back. You're asking for so much to go right for you. It's tough. It's tough. I don't mean to poo-poo and badmouth these kind of systems. But we know that over time, these things will get crushed. And if you can dodge the bullet enough times, fine. But man, the 1 time or 2 times you don't dodge that bullet, it's going to be a soul crusher. So be careful. All right. I think that's it. Lots of ways to lose. Well, there's lots of ways to win, right? Like I said, the martingale, for all of its faults, right? When the one win happens, you're going to be fine, right? If you get one win, you're going to be okay. The problem is that you do experience 5, 6, 7, 8 losses in a row all the time. That's not unheard of, you know, and that's where the table maxes get you. So anyway, that's all I got to say, guys. That's it. Hope that was an interesting day. Again, I'm not trying to tell you. Let's go back here. I'm going to my final thoughts. I'm not. I'm going to say this right. I'm not trying to tell you how to play. I'm not trying to make a recommendation on what's good or bad, although I do have opinions on those things. What I want to do here is fill your toolkit with ideas. I can go to this strategy. I can go to that strategy if I feel like I want to, if my bankroll allows for it, if my spidey senses are tingling and I want to go this one way. You have ways to go, right? If you want to be a negative progression guy, there's 6 ways to do it, right? They all have pros and cons. If you want to be a presser or a same better, fine. Here are some ways you can go ahead and accomplish that. I want you to be able to reach into your bag of tricks and find the way that speaks to you, number 1, that matches your bankroll, number 2, that matches your mindset, your heart, your psychology, number 3, and matches your goals, number 4, right? Match all those things together and you'll have a better time at the tables. You may not win, but your time will be better spent than just watching a video and saying, oh, that one looks cool. I'm doing that tomorrow. How many times do I see Mark the Point or Waylon put a video out and somebody in the comments says, on the first comment, that looks fun. I'm going to play that tomorrow at the casino. Well, you're a freaking idiot if you do that, right? Practice these things, understand the risks and understand what you're doing. Again, these are all toolkits, right? Reach them out, practice them, see what you like. And that's it. That's my final thoughts. No go forward plan for me here. Just learn and watch and try in practice on Crapsy. Crapsy's a great thing. Play these things on Crapsy, see how they feel to you, right? There it is. How many thousands of rolls would I say I had before I rolled 4? Not many, actually. I've done 4 7s in a row, probably 5 or 6 times in that morning show. Now I lost my roll tracker data, but I had about 7,000 rolls in there. I've probably done 4 or 5 7s in a row, at least 5 times. At least I'd say half a dozen times I've done that. So in the 7,000 rolls, it happens. It doesn't happen a lot, but it happens. You know, I had 3 horns in a row today too, which is also pretty hard to do. So there you go. Not trying to tell you what to think, just give you something to think about. That's exactly my point today and yesterday. Give you something to think about. So, all right, there you go. Gary says, I hope one upcoming topic is right side play, going out big, then regress versus going out. We did that already. We talked about that regressing the other day. The regression play that goes out at like 320 comes down to 64, right? That's a great way to play. But the thing is, you're optimizing that one for time, right? One roll. So your time horizon is tiny, but your bankroll exposure is huge, right? Normally a big regression is a lot of bets. So you're covering a ton of numbers. So your donks are small, only 6 donks usually, right? You have one roll. So you have few donks, few rolls, but lots of money. And that's kind of, again, you fill in that pie chart how you want to. Like where do you want your risk to be? You want your risk to be a lot of ways to lose, but not a lot of money, or a lot of money to lose and not a lot of ways to lose it. You got to figure out how that balance works for you. All right, I got to go to work. It's 9 o'clock. Oh my God, it's 9 o'clock. I'm late for my class. Bye, y'all. Love you. God bless. I will see you tomorrow morning. Another paycheck, another coffee run. In the meantime, God bless every one of you. Love you. Bye.